One of my favorite parables that's spoken by Christ and recorded by Luke is that of the prodigal son. There's a little bit of prodigal son in all of us. I think a huge part of the journey is realizing when it's time to come home and to not just do the work, but to serve the purpose that God has for us in that place. My name is Earl Bryce Lee Chin. I'm a Christian, a member of the Bronx Bethany Christian family, an active leader from the Bronx-wide platform, a media professional, a father, a son, a brother, and this is my testimony. It was about 5 years ago when I stood in the pool and was cleansed of my sins and thought that everything would change as drastically as my perspective. But then it didn't. There's some of us that find our divine purpose immediately, and then there are those of us that don't. And I was one of those that didn't. I used to go over the church's mission statement and would always get stuck on the part about practically and compassionately serving, not knowing how that would be executed. I mean, I'd watched my mom work in missionary ministry in the food pantry for years, but still wasn't connecting the dots. Sorry, Mom. Then Pastor Rich had assigned myself and Pastor Althea to take part in a great movement that was happening in this borough. The Bronx-wide platform is a collection of several community organizations from the Bronx, working to develop an economic plan for the Bronx, by the Bronx. The Bronx Bethany was chosen to represent the Northeast section. In this work, we deal with issues that face our citizens. Everything from immigration and education to food sovereignty and access to opportunities. And then I was hit with a personal tragedy, and that was coupled with COVID-19. And again, like the prodigal son, I was lost. But how many of us know that God can use the darkest moments to reveal his most blinding light? It was at that moment when COVID-19 has shut down the world that our food pantry stepped up, helping to perpetuate God's blessing in our community. The work done in our pantry has helped to elevate the convo of what it means to provide adequate nutrition to Bronxites, and has even afforded me the opportunities to show how this is also God's work. Now, as we get ready to get into the next phase of our organizing, it's important that people know about this work. I think of the Reverends Andrew Young Jr., Adam Clayton Powell, Martin Luther King Jr., people who are inspired by God to make changes in their communities, and I implore all of us to adopt this mindset. By logging on to bronx.consider.it, we can continue the journey started by those who preceded us. Here you guys can go log on, vote for policies that you feel are most important, and even leave feedback that will be used in the adjusting of the plan. Through this, I've been able to use my connection with Christ to reconnect with his people in a practically and compassionate way. I realize God has brought me back home, not to serve myself, but to serve him by serving all of you. Thank you.